Love is restructuring right now. This is what's going on. Of course, that's always what's going on. But right now, there's this, whatever that means, whatever right now means, there is this opening of receptivity where the restructuring is happening at a very structural level. I don't know how else to say it. How do I know that? Because a couple days ago, I noticed this end of the road, I'm gonna call it. And sure, this release has happened to me, but I really feel like a probe. I know that it wasn't personal. I know that I witnessed an experience through me that just is. This is the experience. So even if you're not going through similar experiences, you're experiencing it as a translation, however it fits within your understanding, within your capacity, your own world. So within this wave, what I've come to witness is this abandonment. It was very odd, and it threw me for a loop because I do not have, or I'm not supposed to have abandonment issues. I was wanted as a child. I had a pretty happy upbringing. So of course my mind kind of spiraled at first, right? Because when you're in that hot seat, you're not the facilitator, you're it. So I immediately, that instinct, right, to look outside. Maybe it's somebody else's. Maybe it's something else. But I quickly returned to the moment of the experience that was happening within me. And so I went deeper and deeper into that very clear feeling of abandonment. And within that depth, I was able to feel and to see very clearly, even though the seeing was more like a knowing this time. It was me, but there was no shape of me per se. I just knew there was an identity as I talking to love, which was a much bigger thing than the I. And I was so sad and angry at the same time, and between tears. It was as if I was yelling at it, but I didn't have strength in my voice to be yelling. But I was just calling these words. How could you have done this? How did you left me behind? It was very, um, how could you do that? And yes, tears started rolling. It was so emotional. It was so deep. There's just hard sorrowing. And it took me quite a while to recover from that experience. But it was very, very clear. It was the first experience of separation as a separation, as that fragment, right? So maybe we weren't even form the way we understand form to be at that time. And that's why there's no image with that. There's just this knowing who's talking to whom. And there was a sensation of size. I could tell, as a contrast, as a comparison, which one was I and which one was love. And after a few days, I realized that was the return wave, right? Because everything is a toroidal shape, right? It's this return. And sorrow is not personal. It's both a mechanism and it's a marker, like a mile marker. And yes, it took me a few days to understand that we reached that marker at the end of the wave, or I should say, we're back at the beginning within the spiral of time. And now we're on this return journey back into stillness, because we have reached this fractal has reached the fertile ground of reemerging, of looking back on itself, right? So that's what sorrow is with everything. It's just this depth of the seed resprouting from remembering. That's what it is. It's remembering. And with that, it became very, very clear that now love is restructuring into its own remembering. It's the very ancient shape of love, because we held love as a very fixed structure, right? It's conditional. It is performative. It is possessiveness. Whatever, right? We gave it many, many shapes and forms, but overall that structure is very fixed. That's why the loss is so great, right? Like when we lose something that we love, it hurts so much because it's not free. It's not the inherent structure. So this new structure that love is remembering within us, because the integration is for real, is, well, I don't know what it is. I don't know. And I can't see it. But I think that's the point. Because this remembered new structure is supposed to be within the moment. It's supposed to be contextual. It's supposed to be fleeting. It's literally one frame at a time, forever flexible, forever morphing. And right now it is so excited to come into remembrance that it certainly wants to be left undefined for as much as possible. So I don't think we can point. We can't take our measuring stick and say, oh, this is it. We've been trying. We've been trying for this entire time to define it. And the more we try and the longer we try for, we can only define what love is not. Because it's constantly outgrowing itself, right? And proof of that it's still going on, it's you, I, all of us. That's all these fractals reaching out further and further. But when it's come to its own boundary, right? Like this sorrow, this fertile ground of remembering, then there's the celebration of the return home through the body, through the integration, because now it can solidify into form and not be fixed in form. Form is just this expression. It's still it's a freer, larger structure. We don't have language, or I should say, I don't know how to say it better. And so this whole new restructuring, this whole new understanding, the new disintegration is creating all sorts of chaos, reorganization, collapse. Yes. But we have to understand that the 3D, and this is exactly one of the first things that it's establishing, right, as its fundamental understandings now of this reality, is that the 3D is not a mirror of your understanding of love. It is not a mirror of your coherence, let's say, right, of your togetherness, of how harmonic you are. Because I think we held 3D for a long time in that tension that if I'm in love and I'm operating from love, then the 3D must reflect that. And my life, I mean, on certain levels it has, but it's not mirroring it the way I think it's mirroring it. And it seems it's more so a mirror of my capacity, of my nervous system, of what I can navigate, tolerate, hold, untangle, because my capacity to love in freedom has expanded, greatly. If I were to talk in monkey language, the monkey with the measuring stick language. And is there more peace on earth? No. But what there is on earth, a capacity to transmute the dysfunction, to transmute the incoherence, the I don't want to say darkness. I'm going to say misunderstanding. Um, the complete misunderstand, the not even wrongness, right? Because did I say that before? Like, we're so far away from being right that we're wrong all the time, right? Even when we're coming into this little truth of knowing something so clearly, it doesn't even make it right, because everything is so contextual and related that that little truth just simply makes us less wrong about what we understand, how all this works. And so it all comes down for, I don't know how many years, I think, the rest of our lives, to our nervous system. This capacity um, to hold this love, to hold this new structure in undefinition as fleeting. It appears as needed, and then it has to be allowed to return into stillness. And so when we, from this space of this new love that's restructuring, when we start bringing in our 3D, I'm going to call them events, 3D life happenings, we can start to see more clearly how I've literally entangled my understanding, my belief systems, my nervous system, my breath with all situations in my life. And I've made them dependent on me by definition, by my understanding. So with that clarity, I guess it's time. It's time to say, I want to take my breath back. Because this love, that's what it is. It's sovereign. And so this new structure calls for sovereignty of the love within. And they're just one practice after the other where we're sitting with a situation, and it might not be face to face. See, because we're not opposing that situation. So you might want to bring that situation just on your side and sit with it for a little bit, allow that nervous system to coexist with this untamed, sovereign love. And to be in that contrast and to see how, oh yeah, there's no conflict. There's just, most of the time, it's simply just misunderstanding. You just outgrew the relationship you had, your dependency. You probably put on this identity, the proof on the situation. If it's your career, your loved ones, right? And it's like you carry the proof of who I am back so I can see myself. Or you carry the burden that I cannot carry for myself right now, right? If it's anxiety, just emotional overwhelm that I cannot process, I'm going to just put it on you. But today, when we're sitting with this love, we can say, you know what, I can be with that. I'll be with that. I'll be with all these parts who have been outsourced, have been abandoned, basically. Oh, it's just how it works, doesn't it? And from the sovereign axis, we can untangle the nervous system through breath. And we can literally inhale the us back into us and free whatever it is, that job, that person, the space, the house, the situation, and free it to unfold in a way that is no longer needing to be a mirror to myself. You don't need to complete some of these things, you see, because you've already arrived into the sorrow, the primordial, the original sorrow of the separation. So from that, again, depth and fertility, you can inhale all these outsourced outsourced pieces, the strength that you outsource, the trust that you outsource, the faith, whatever it is that you outsourced. And there's many things that keep finding that, oh my God, is this ever ending? It's not about ever ending. This is the other thing. When we're bored of it, we don't have to end it. And we can simply reframe this 3D as it is my mirror back. It's holding this responsibility to show me who I am, to being my teacher. And it sounds sort of the same, but energetically it is not at all. And you have to play with that. You have to feel into that. It's not, I don't think I can convince you of that difference, right? Or you have to see the difference between coherence and capacity. You can be coherence and you can hold the sovereignty of your own capacity within this one axis. And when that happens, the centeredness is automatic. There's no doing, there's no reaching, seeking. There is just this curiosity and things being revealed, being taught, but not taught as in life is teaching me a lesson. It's revealed, I should say. It's like, oh, and this, and now this. Could you have correlated this into this? Oh wow, well that was surprising. So that's how the ease shows up, but we can't work ourselves towards the ease, right? The ease is the byproduct. It's just what shows up because we have remembered ourselves into this new structure. And I keep calling it structure, but it's not fixed. It's this dynamic, not in time. It's like appearing in time, but it's a structure because it's a geometry, right? It's not hocus pocus. It's, uh, it's not magic. It's just magical. So we breathe. And I think we're starting to understand this breath a little bit more and more, because when we understand how breath is the frequency of this essence, it creates the linearity of time, the linearity of the frames, the linearity of the moment. And it creates this um, entanglement, this identity attachment. And that's how easily we can also detach and recenter and restructure. Because from one moment to the next, we can breathe a different frequency into time. So from that sense, um, love is just this structure that just keeps on going. But yeah, all I know that this is what's going on right now. Love is restructuring hard. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful, even though we still need these reminders. This event in 3D feels like a slap. hmm Definitely feels like a slap. So I have to come back to a reframe so I can see what's going on clearly. So the process is very much alive, but the same as the structure, you cannot follow the same process over and over again. It's a presence type process. You breathe into the space, right? So you're coming into the sovereign love structure within you, and you bring in this slap event, and you allow the contrast. You allow the contrast, and that will tell you the process. And most of the time, the process is, now that you see it, don't do anything. Don't just allow it to dissipate. You don't give it more power. You don't give it more attention. You simply remove curiosity from that. You remove life force. And the next step usually that shows up is this natural gratitude that it held a lower frequency for you to experience something, or for you to realize a higher harmonics. And just sometimes to see that that is just an echo, is not a real thing that you're still engaged to, but it's an echo of an old pattern that for some reason it's still lingering. And instead of re-engaging in an active detangling, let's just say, it's just for one last goodbye or something like that, right? So each time the process requires presence now. It requires your love within the context. Special. Everything is special within that moment. Everything is unique within that moment. It's just you and whatever else and whatever else. However, you're building this circle, and it's all unique. So let's just take one deep breath together, just honoring this love that is free to unfold and show us what it can do. Because one thing is for sure, we are embodying this unnamed, undefined love first. We're embodying it through our cellular structure, organization, mechanics, and it's going to play out through clearing, through untangling. This is a bottom up approach. And if we're not understanding that, or if we're not clear that that's what's happening, well, a lot of spirals are going on right now, so we could have easily a very difficult time. I mean, it's not easy, even if you know. And if it's made up, well, I'd rather this be made up and live in this than in the alternative. But because this is my axis, I can make it up, right? So this is what I'm making up. So yeah, let's allow to make up this whole new environment, well, where love can play in its more original structure of love. Happy playing.